Okay, so welcome to the Miracle Sessions today. Great that you joined. We're here for some deep healing, and that's always wonderful, isn't it? Today, the healing example is one of the topics, and we use the Urtext for that, the Urtext Manuscripts, because it is an incredibly clear instruction for healing, an instruction to receive healing, and so that's why I'm using it today. But before we start doing that, an essential part of this coming together is relaxation, is coming into a still place inside yourself, withdrawing the attention from the outside and turning within. So that's what we practice first. So it can help to close your eyes. It can help to focus on your breathing, like relax into that, sigh a couple of times, or yawn a couple of times, or do whatever you need to do to release some tension that you weren't even aware of. The same we do with your mind, in fact, is relaxing your mind as much as you can. It's like letting the thoughts be, but not engaging with them, not doing anything with them, just for the sake of coming in touch with a deeper layer of ourselves and not being completely occupied with the superficial level that you have, say, circling around in your mind, maybe a part of your day. So here we are. So it might help to close your eyes for a moment. I'm reading a couple of, say, reviews of some lessons, and 4 or 5, something like that. So I'll do that very slowly so you can deeply relax into it. So this is from my little I'm Sustained by the Love of God book. It's like the 20-minute book. I do not perceive my own best interests. So how could I recognize my own best interest when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests would merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I'm willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests are. Recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself. I do not know what anything is for. To me, the purpose of everything is to prove that my illusions about myself are real. It is for this purpose that I attempt to use everyone and everything. It is for this that I believe the world is for. Therefore, I do not recognize its real purpose. The purpose I've given the world has led to a frightening picture of it. So let me open my mind to the world's real purpose by withdrawing the one I've given it and learning the truth about it. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. How can I know who I am when I see myself as under constant attack? Pain, illness, loss, age, and death seem to threaten me. All my hopes and wishes and plans appear to be at the mercy of a world I cannot control. Yet perfect security and complete fulfillment are my inheritance. I've tried to give my inheritance away in exchange for the world I see, but God has kept my inheritance safe for me. My own real thoughts will teach me what it is. Above all else, I want to see, recognizing that what I see reflects what I think I am. I realize that vision is my greatest need. The world I see attests to the fearful nature of the self-image I have made. If I would remember who I am, it is essential that I let this image of myself go. As it is replaced by truth, vision will surely be given me. And with this vision I will look upon the world and upon myself with charity and love. Above all else, I want to see differently. The world I see holds my fearful self-image in place and guarantees its continuance. While I see the world as I see it now, truth cannot enter my awareness. I would let the door behind this world be opened for me, that I may look past it to the world that reflects the love of God. God is in everything I see. Behind every image I have made, the truth remains unchanged. Behind every veil I've drawn across the face of love, its light remains undimmed. Beyond all my insane wishes is my will united with the will of my Father. God is still everywhere and in everything, forever. And we who are part of Him will yet look past all appearances and recognize the truth beyond them all. Alright, so this is our introduction to come into the still place, into the healing place that's within us. See, and this is where you make contact with while healing. Like you heal by making contact with that. Nobody can do that for you in that sense. So today we're looking at the healing example, and there's some real clear instruction in healing, really to the fundamental core of it. We're probably not able to read it all, but it's really great to read it over or listen to it. So today I made a recording of it too, of the reading of it, and you can listen to it again on the website, or I can send it to you, even that. So this is great to work with, so to speak, because it brings it down, like the same as what Joel ever told you, or the same as what you already knew before. Like, okay, I gotta accept it for myself. One way or the other, I have to accept this healing for myself. In that, I extend it to others. Well, that's really where this whole section is about. But the way to do that, and all the say things you can come up with why you think it wouldn't work, is going to be undone while reading this. So that's really great stuff. So it's like, if your only wish is to be healed, you will be healed. See, and this is not given us to attack ourselves. No, this is just to come into an acceptance of what it says. So that's a different point of view. And in that, healing takes place for you, becoming open to receive this for yourself. Just like we read too, it's like giving up attack thoughts, letting this world be changed by you changing your mind. So it all starts with you. It all starts with accepting it for yourself continuously. So we're really focused on the outside world most of the time. You want to change something, or you want to fix something, or you even putting a chair in a different place because you want to sit there and not here is already like an adjustment that, it's like you want to be in control of your surroundings, of your world, even on a physical scale too. That's a tendency of your human mind. That's a tendency of you as in your misidentification. So with healing, with accepting healing for yourself, it is 100% within story, so to speak, or within action. You go within in order to receive this. So I'll read the first two paragraphs, and we'll take it from there. So this is chapter 27 from the Urtext Manuscripts. And luckily today, for the ones that don't have the book, you can download the PDF with the whole Urtext, with all the volumes on the website. So they were freely available. I'm pretty amazed by that, but hey, that's wonderful. I'll share it. So this chapter 27, section F, the healing example. Okay, so let's start with the first paragraph. The only way to heal is to be healed. The miracle extends without your help. Okay, but you are needed that it can begin. You are needed that it can begin. Accept the miracle of healing and it will go forth because of what it is. It is its nature to extend itself the instant it is born. And it is born the instant it is offered and received. No one can ask another to be healed, but he can let himself be healed and thus offer the other what he has received. Who can bestow upon another what he does not have, and who can share what he denies himself? The Holy Spirit speaks to you. He does not speak to someone else. Yet by your listening, his voice extends, because you have accepted what he says. See, this is getting really to the bottom of the, the basic healing law, so to speak, the basic healing law of accepting this for yourself in order to give it away. You can extend this to others by your self-acceptance. See, and there is no one else. That's what you've heard a lot too. Like, there's nobody outside of you. There's nobody there. This is just about you. See, and that is really what is stressed here too in this chapter, or in this paragraph. Like, it is about you. No, it's not about someone else. It's not about healing someone else. It's not about any of that. No, this you accept for yourself. When you accept it for yourself, you extend it. But first, you gotta give it and receive it. It needs to be received by you. See, one of the things that we will meet in a moment is the idea of the attack thoughts that I was reading about in the little book. It's like, as long as you hold attack thoughts against something or someone, it is out of the question that you can receive it for yourself. So that's the beauty of healing. It is like actually a moment in which you can be, say, defenseless yourself. Like you can for a moment start to love, to extend your love to your brother. In that moment you actually are receiving healing for yourself. See, and that only needs to be an instant. It is not that you have to do that all day long or something. It's like, no, we'll meet that later too. It's like, no, this is about an instant, an holy instant that you accept. You lose your defenses for a second and actually fall in love, literally extend your love to your brother. In that you accept it for yourself and something shifts and changes. So that's great stuff. That's really beautiful. Okay, continuing with the next paragraph. So I'm racing through this. I know that. So health. So we come back to this as much as we need to, or we want to. So you can ask questions or write it down just for a moment. Write it down, and we'll talk about it later on. Health is the witness unto health. As long as it is unattested, it remains without conviction. Only when demonstrated has it been proved, and must compel belief. No one is healed through double messages. If you only wish to be healed, you heal. Your single purpose makes this possible. But if you are afraid of healing, then it cannot come through you. The only thing that is required for healing is a lack of fear. The fearful are not healed and cannot heal. This does not mean the conflict must be gone forever from your mind. No, for if it were, there were no need for healing anymore. But it does mean this: If only for an instant you love without attack, an instant is sufficient. Miracles wait not on time. No, it's about an instant. An instant is sufficient. So that's a really like also a relaxation again. It's like there's nothing really asked of you. So you have to start it for yourself. See, and it's, how does it work then? Well, see, in your connection with your brother, you feel that you have a moment in which you start to lose your defenses. In that moment, something can happen. Like you can literally receive that healing for yourself, but by actually starting to love your brother as yourself. You know, so this is like a fulfillment of the law, so to speak. Love God with all of your heart and your neighbor as yourself. You know, we know this from the Bible. And this is really the practice of it. And in that is all the healing you can possibly imagine, because in that you're actually confirming that there is no separation, and you find your brother in the place where you actually know him from, and it is connectedness, it is communication, it is heaven. You know, it's heaven. So we're familiar with these moments. Everyone had a moment like that, for sure. So it's like you start to practice this more and more too. You start to you want to get involved into this in order to give it away and accept it at the same time for yourself. You want that to be like activated in your mind, this possibility. You want to remember it, that it is a possibility. You know, that's why it's so great to bring it in class and to listen to it again, like in the recording. It's pretty wild if you read this whole section. It's absolutely fantastic. Like it's a summary about what you want to receive in order to heal. Okay, so third paragraph. The holy instant is the miracle's abiding place. From there, each one is born into this world as witness to a state of mind which has transcended conflict and has reached to peace. It carries comfort from the place of peace into the battleground and demonstrates that war has no effects. For all the hurt that war has sought to bring, the broken bodies and shattered limbs, the screaming dying and the silent dead are gently lifted up and comforted. There is no sadness where a miracle has come to heal, and nothing more than just one instant of your love without attack is necessary that all this occurs. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Did you ever read that in A Course in Miracles? And did you not forget that? Like, wow, underline it. You know, if you have like the neon stift or something, like, okay, fully highlight it. This is great. I'll read the last sentence again. There is no sadness where a miracle has come to heal, and nothing more than just one instant of your love without attack is necessary that this all occurs. Like only one instant without attack. So are we attacking all day long then? Are you attacking with your thoughts all day long then? Apparently yes. Or maybe not. If you live in a healing surrounding, if you see that everything around you heals and there's no moment of sadness connected to where you abide, then that's great. That is wonderful if that happens to you. You know, that's what I would love to have for you. So it is. So what are we doing instead of healing then? So we are attacking. We have ideas about things. Like when I say we, I should say I. I apparently have ideas about, well, I should rather say you. That feels a lot better. And I start to project to you that you are the one doing that. It's like, no, okay, well, I'll just say I in this case then. So I apparently am attacking everything around me with my thoughts. I really believe that my thoughts have a means to say something about what is occurring. I really think that I know what something is for. I really think I know what the meaning of all this is, and I also know what I think that is right. And all that is just in the way for the healing of myself. All of it, it's like, wow, imagine that you can turn a place around just by giving up these ideas. You can change everything around by just you giving up attack thoughts, seeing that in extension of the love that you are, without this attack, you see that there's no sadness, and you see everything change and being lifted up by just that. See, and one of the lessons that we just read in the review is also giving up the validation of appearances, but going beyond them. So that's another thing. Like, we believe what we see. That's the greatest attack upon ourselves, and we don't realize it because we think, well, I see it, so it must be real. It must be something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be seeing it. Like, no, this is really like the representation of your attack thoughts. You really believe that your appearances have something to tell you, and you keep yourself busy with it all day long. If you let go of it for one moment during your meditation, you have like, oh my God, it feels so good. So yeah, do you want more? That's the question. Do you want more? Do you want to spend more time, and not necessarily in meditating, but giving up your attack thoughts and not believing what you see, not believing what you see through your senses? This is really, this is really what is being offered. So one of the in the YouTube videos that were posted on the website, on the EVHub channel, so somebody was asking, okay, teach more about self-love. And I think that's a great idea. This is a great idea seen in this perspective of giving up attack thoughts and seeing that your whole world changes. I think that is a beautiful example of demonstrating, like literally living that self-love. This is where you love yourself. You first have to start loving yourself in order to heal. And in that, in your acceptance, you extend it to others. So that is really something. So one of the things then I would say to come into the practice of self-love is really by letting go of your attack thoughts, letting go of your perception of all the appearances that you're seeing and that you get, say, excited about or frustrated about, or who knows what feelings you get by what you see. So by letting go of that, you have an opportunity to come into the place where you start to love yourself. In that, you love everyone too, because, hey, there is no one outside of you. So it was only about you coming into the experience of loving yourself, loving your neighbor as yourself, loving you as yourself. And not for the ideas that you think, but for that what you are. And to experience that what you are, you have to let go of your attack thoughts, definitions, concerns, frustrations, great ideas, bad ideas, sickness ideas, disaster ideas, pandemic ideas, age ideas. So it is really about giving up your world, the world that you see. Always comes down to that. Are you willing to leave your world behind? It's like, do you want to leave your nets of limitation, where you only catch limited amounts in supply? are you willing to leave your nets behind and follow me? You know, in terms of, are you willing to leave this world behind that you created and let it be replaced by something that is real and that is enjoyable and totally miraculous and healed and whole? So that is what's been given in this. This is how you heal yourself. This is how you love yourself. Are you willing to let this go? To let this wingy in your mind go. You know, to let all this concern, all these ideas, all this that burdens your mind, that occupies your mind and preoccupies your mind and post-occupies your mind. You name it, you give it any term. I don't care. But are you willing to let it go in exchange for something that is real and that is whole and perfect? So that's the offering, just given in these last couple of sentences. So at F4, the fourth paragraph, we read this. In that one instant are you healed, and in that single instant is all healing done. What stands apart from you when you accept the blessing that the holy instant brings? Be not afraid of the blessing, for the one who blesses you loves all the world and leaves nothing within the world that could be feared. But if you shrink from blessing, will the world indeed seem fearful, for you have withheld its peace and comfort, leaving it to die. Would not a world so bitterly bereft be looked on as a condemnation by the one who could have saved it, but stepped back because he was afraid of being healed? The eyes of all the dying bring reproach, and suffering whispers, "What is there to fear?" So consider well its question. It is asked of you on your behalf. A dying world asks only that you rest an instant from attack upon yourself, that it be healed. So I'll stop right there. So that's a really great sentence too. It's another one to underline, like I always use this little pencil for it. So it's like, it is asked of you on your behalf. A dying world asks only that you rest an instant from attack upon yourself, that it be healed. So that's not so much to ask, like it is literally, and this is always in the atonement, it's always the undoing of something you don't have to do any longer. You don't have to do it. So when you have a lot of that in your scope, so to speak, if you see a lot of that happening, like when you see a dying world, when you see a disaster world, when you see a world that seems to be like so far lost from God, so to speak, stop for an instant, because it just represents the attack upon yourself. It just is the attack upon yourself. Let it rest for a moment. Let it go for a moment. And rest yourself. You know, take a little time to recover from your belief in these appearances. And as soon as you are aware that you have a choice to do that, and you actually are starting to apply this, you see, oh my God, I should have done that before. What was I thinking? I was completely lost in this world of disaster, disease, disaster, and death, the 3D world. I was completely lost in it for a moment. And now I wake up. I literally stop doing what I'm doing. I'm letting the appearances go. just in order for my own sake, so that I remember that, oh yeah, wait a minute, oh yeah, these are appearances, this is not my reality. I'm allowing myself a moment of non-attack. I literally stop attacking myself with all of this. And there you go again in your meditation. Suddenly you become so quiet, and suddenly it's like, oh, so great to be aware that I have a choice. What else am I going to do? You know, so this is another example of demonstrating self-love, literally, by applying this, by stopping for a moment attacking yourself. Like you didn't know that you were attacking yourself that much. You really thought that your perception is just your perception. No, it's an attack upon yourself. No, you're fooled by appearances. You really think they have a reality of their own. And they don't. So that's, see, we only got like 4 or 5 paragraphs of the healing example, and it's just continuing. It's such great stuff. It's pretty amazing. So we probably can do one more. So I said, okay, I stop at F5, but consider well its question, what is there to fear? It is asked of you on your behalf. A dying world asks only that you rest an instant from attack upon yourself, that it be healed. Come to the holy instant and be healed, for nothing that is there received is left behind on your returning to the world. And being blessed, you will bring blessing. Oh, here you go. And being blessed, you will bring blessing. Life is given you to give the dying world. And suffering eyes no longer will accuse, but shine in thanks to you who blessing gave. The holy instant's radiance will light your eyes and give them sight to see beyond all suffering, and see Christ's face instead. Healing replaces suffering. Who looks on one cannot perceive the other, for they cannot both be there. And what you see the world will witness, and will witness too. So this is a fundamental cause and effect relationship. And this is like a perfect example of that. Like literally you can only see one of them, so to speak. You either see a dying world or the whole world is awakening. It really depends on where you in your mind find yourself. Are you completely invested in your attack thoughts? Are you really trusting your appearances, your perception, in terms of you see the differences and you see everything that is there as a separate identity? Or are you allowing yourself to come into the deep sense of self-love by accepting this for yourself, this rest for yourself, and giving up your attack thoughts? But you can only see one or the other. So it's either you're in there, you're in this limited world of perception, or you leave that behind and are literally opening up for the real world for you to see. The holy instant's radiance will light your eyes and give them sight to see beyond all suffering, and see Christ's face instead. Healing replaces suffering. Who looks on one cannot perceive the other, for they cannot both be there. And what you see the world will witness, and will witness too. So it is like then the whole world is also showing that to you, like it's giving it back to you. And I said, like, this is a perfect example of the idea of cause and effect. Like, it's instantaneous. There's no time in between. So one moment you can shift into seeing the world as a disaster, and the moment that you decide to withdraw from that and take take time to come into your stillness, so to speak, then you can see literally this all shift. And you see a whole different world, like instantaneously. It is so connected to what you think, you have no idea. So when you stop having ideas about it, a different vision can come to you. And that's the one that you want. So you probably have examples of that for yourself too. Like I really remember that too. Like one of the examples that I walked around with one day was that I felt so guilty about what I supposedly had done that I literally saw the whole world look at me, like everyone that I met look at me. They looked at me in a way like, okay, here he is. No, he's that guy. You know, it's like, oh my God, what do you think of that? And the moment that I changed my mind about myself, that's just gone. It's just over. You know, it's like nobody's thinking anything about me. No, it's just what I make up in my mind, what I make up for me as ideas about myself. I'm attacking myself with my appearances. And where do they come from, the appearances? They come from me. They don't come from somewhere else. They don't have a life of their own. So here's like a fundamental, we really get to the crux of healing and of perception healing. You know, it's like it's all coming to the same point in the end. You know, wholeness is wholeness. So it's all pointing to the same spot. And it's literally like perception becomes so holy that it transfers into knowledge. You know, and all this is like available to you by starting to really take this in for yourself and letting it say direct you and show you how incredible this is, how incredible oneness is. Like it doesn't have exceptions. It is from whatever angle you come from it, in the end you will come to the core of it. So I love that about it. Okay, so I think that we have covered a lot today. So for this, like I said, the recording of the reading of this part of the chapter is given tomorrow or so on the website. You can listen to it, or you can read it yourself, of course. But it's, to me, it's always, I love to listen to reading. So I'm more like that. And that's why I give it away too, just as a gift to you and a gift to myself, because I can listen to it myself too. So anyway, so thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being part of this, because like there's no you apart from me. So if one is healed, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. That's another lesson that comes up maybe the other time that we use the next part of this section, because it still continues and there's more to it. Okay, so thank you for this, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.